The heavy front door of the penthouse slammed open. Move in. This is your new home now. A tall billionaire CEO, Daniel Royce, stepped inside holding a woman's hand. His mistress, Chloe. She smiled proudly, scanning the luxury interior like she had already won. But then, silence. Daniel froze. Because sitting right at the dining table was his wife, Amara Royce. Calm. Straight posture. Not crying. Not shaking. Just waiting. She slowly placed a glass of water down. I was wondering what time you'd bring her home, she said softly. Chloe blinked. Excuse me. Daniel scoffed, trying to regain control. Amara, don't start. This is not a discussion. Amara stood slowly. No, she said. It's not. She walked toward them, then stopped just one step away, and looked at Chloe directly. You can stay, she said calmly. Chloe smiled slightly, but Amara finished the sentence. Because this house doesn't belong to him anymore. Daniel frowned. What are you talking about? Amara turned her head slightly. I've been waiting for this exact moment. 6 months earlier, Daniel Royce was the golden CEO of Royce Global Holdings. Powerful, respected, untouchable. Amara was his wife of 5 years. At a charity event, a reporter asked, Mr. Royce, what's your biggest strength? He smiled. My wife. She keeps me grounded. Amara smiled beside him, but her eyes didn't match her smile. That night, Daniel came home late. Again. Amara sat on the bed. Late meeting again. He loosened his tie. Board issues. You wouldn't understand. She nodded slowly. I understand more than you think. He didn't hear her tone. Or maybe he didn't care. Weeks passed. Late nights became normal. Phone always flipped face down. Then one night, Amara saw the message. See Chloe. I miss you. When are you leaving her? Her hand froze. No scream. No tears. Just silence. Daniel entered the room. You're still awake? Amara smiled slightly. Yes. He stopped. Something felt off. What's wrong? She looked at him carefully. Nothing, she said. I finally understand everything. Daniel laughed lightly. You always overthink things. Amara whispered. No, Daniel. I underreact. The next morning, Amara met a lawyer. I need documentation, she said. For what? The lawyer asked. For when my life stops pretending to be stable. She wasn't emotional. She was precise. That same day, she opened a private bank account, transferred legal consultation fees, started recording financial patterns. Every move quiet. Every move intentional. Daniel crossed his arms. You think you can speak like this in my house? Amara turned slowly. Your house. She smiled faintly. Ask your father. Chloe frowned. What does that mean? Suddenly, Daniel's phone rang. Unknown caller. He answered. Hello. A cold voice replied. Come to the headquarters. Immediately, it was his father. Daniel's expression tightened. I'm busy. Silence. Then, Daniel, this is no longer optional. Call ended. Amara watched him and said softly, Go. Daniel frowned. What did you do? Amara walked back to the dining table. I didn't do anything yet. Pause. I just stopped protecting you. Daniel stared at her, confused for the first time. Chloe leaned closer to him. Is she serious? But Amara calmly picked up a folder from the table and placed it in front of them. By the way, before you leave. She slid it forward. Everything you built starts collapsing today. Daniel opened it slowly. His face changed instantly. Because inside were screenshots, financial reports, and evidence. Amara looked at him one last time. I told you. I was waiting. If you're watching this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me, where are you watching from? Daniel slammed the folder shut. You've been spying on me? Amara didn't even flinch. I don't need to spy on someone who leaves evidence everywhere. Chloe stepped back slightly. Daniel, what is this? Daniel ignored her and stepped closer to Amara. This is insane. You think papers will scare me? Amara tilted her head slightly. No. Small pause. But your father will. That sentence landed like a strike. Daniel froze. What did you say? Before Amara could answer, Daniel's phone rang again. Same caller. His father. This time, Daniel answered immediately. Yes, I'm coming. But the voice cut him off. No. You are already late. Silence. Then the father continued. Your board has voted. You are suspended effective immediately. Daniel's face changed. What? That's not possible. The voice stayed cold. It's done. Call ended. The room went silent. Chloe grabbed Daniel's arm. What does that mean? Daniel whispered. My father just removed me. Chloe blinked rapidly. You're joking, right? Daniel didn't answer. He turned toward Amara slowly. What did you do? Amara calmly sat back down. I didn't destroy you, Daniel. She looked up at him. I just stopped protecting your image. Daniel's voice rose. You had no right. Amara's tone stayed controlled. And you had no respect. That silence hit harder than shouting. Glass boardroom. Daniel's father, Richard Royce, sat at the head of the table. Executives surrounded him. A screen displayed headlines. CEO Daniel Royce linked to marital scandal. Internal betrayal threatens Royce global stability. Richard spoke coldly. Reputation built in decades can fall in minutes. A board member spoke. Sir, investors are panicking. Richard replied. Then remove the instability. Pause. Daniel is the instability. Chloe paced nervously. This is not my problem. You told me you were in control. Daniel snapped. Stop talking. Then his phone buzzed. Security alert. Penthouse access revoked. Chloe frowned. What does that mean? Daniel whispered. We don't own this place anymore. Silence. Chloe stared at him. You said you were untouchable. Daniel didn't respond. Because for the first time, he wasn't. Amara stood and picked up a second file. You know what's funny? Daniel looked at her, anger mixing with confusion. What? Amara stepped closer. You always thought I was quiet because I was weak. Pause. I was quiet because I was building something you couldn't see. Chloe shook her head. This is crazy. Amara turned to her. No. Soft smile. This is just consequences. Chloe looked at Daniel. You said I would be safe with you. Daniel snapped. Not now. Chloe stepped back. You have nothing now, Daniel. That hit him harder than anything. He turned toward Amara. You planned all of this? Amara shook her head slowly. I reacted to your choices. She paused. You brought her into our home. Small pause. I just made sure you brought her into your downfall too. Daniel's phone rang again. He hesitated, then answered. His father spoke. Your access to company assets is frozen. Daniel's voice cracked slightly. Father, listen to me. But the voice cut in. I did listen. Pause. And I heard weakness. Silence. Then, you will leave the penthouse by tonight. Daniel froze. What? Richard's voice stayed calm. You are no longer a Royce executive. Call ended. Daniel stood still. Chloe backed away slowly. So what happens now? Daniel didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Amara looked at him calmly. You wanted to bring her home to break me. She stepped closer. But you forgot something. Daniel whispered. What? Amara leaned slightly forward. I already left emotionally. That line broke something in him. For the first time, he looked uncertain. Security alerts started flashing on Daniel's phone. Evacuation notice. Penthouse clearance required. Chloe grabbed her bag instantly. I'm not staying here for this. She looked at Daniel. I liked you when you were powerful. Then she walked out. Daniel called after her. Chloe. But she didn't turn back. Doors slammed. Silence again. Daniel stood alone. Then slowly turned toward Amara. What happens now? Amara looked at him calmly. You leave. If you're still watching, comment. Power can disappear in minutes. Like, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. Security doors of the penthouse opened with a sharp mechanical sound. Sir, you have 20 minutes to vacate the property. Daniel turned sharply. What did you just say? The security officer didn't hesitate. Orders from Royce Global Holdings. The property has been reclaimed. Daniel froze. Behind him, empty hallway. Chloe was gone. His mistress had left without even saying goodbye. Now so was his power. Daniel walked back inside slowly. Every step felt different. Louder. He looked around the penthouse, his penthouse. Now it didn't feel like his anymore. Amara stood near the dining table, calm as ever. Daniel's voice lowered. This is my home. Amara replied softly. No. Small pause. This was your illusion. Daniel's jaw tightened. You did this to punish me. Amara shook her head. I didn't punish you, Daniel. She stepped closer. I just stopped absorbing your choices. That silence hit harder than anger. Daniel's phone vibrated nonstop. News alerts. Company removal confirmed. CEO position reassigned. Board statement released. He stared at it. His breathing changed. This is impossible. Amara calmly picked up a small envelope from the table. She placed it in front of him. What's that? Daniel asked. Amara replied. Your exit agreement. Daniel laughed bitterly. You're giving me paperwork now? Amara looked at him directly. This is what power looks like when it no longer needs permission. Daniel's phone rang again. He answered immediately. Father, fix this. But the voice was colder than ever. I warned you. Daniel's voice cracked. I can still fix this. I just need time. Silence. Then Richard Royce said, You don't need time. Pause. You need consequences. Daniel went quiet. Richard continued. You embarrassed this family. You weakened the company. And you disrespected your marriage. Daniel whispered. It was just an affair. That sentence stopped everything. Richard's voice dropped. Just. Long pause. Then final blow. You are no longer my successor. Call ended. The phone slipped slightly in Daniel's hand. He didn't drop it, but his grip loosened. For the first time, he looked lost. He turned toward Amara. Say something. Amara stayed calm. What do you want me to say? Daniel's voice rose slightly. That you're happy now? Amara shook her head. No. Soft pause. I'm free. That word landed deep. Daniel suddenly tried calling Chloe. No answer. He tried again. Nothing. Then a message arrived. CHLOE. I can't be with someone who has nothing left. Daniel stared at it. No. He typed a reply, but stopped halfway, because he realized. She never loved him. She loved what he had. And now it was gone. Amara picked up her bag. Daniel looked at her quickly. Where are you going? Amara paused at the door. To live. Daniel stepped forward. We can fix this. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. Amara turned slightly. Her voice stayed calm. Yes. Small pause. But not everyone gets to keep me after theirs. Silence. Daniel's voice broke slightly. You planned everything, didn't you? Amara looked at him for a long moment. Then answered. No. Pause. I simply stopped begging to be valued. That hit him harder than anything else. Daniel whispered. I loved you. Amara nodded slowly. I know. Then she added. But you loved yourself more. Silence filled the room. Security entered again. Sir, you need to leave now. Daniel didn't move. He looked around one last time. Luxury. Silence. Empty life. He turned back to Amara. Where will I go? Amara looked at him one last time. I don't know. Soft pause. Wherever people go when they lose what they took for granted. Outside the penthouse. Amara stepped into the city air. For the first time, she smiled slightly. Not because she won, but because she stopped losing herself. Her phone rang. It was her lawyer. It's done. Everything is finalized. You're fully independent now. Amara replied softly. Good. She looked ahead. No fear. No regret. Only direction. Inside the building, Daniel stood alone in the hallway. No security. No Chloe. No father's protection. No wife. Just silence. He whispered to himself. I lost everything. If you watch this till the end, comment. Silence is the strongest revenge. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories like this. And tell me, where are you watching from?